The humans had won another small war. On the edge of a new galaxy, they had taken control of a strange moon rich in minerals and full of secrets. The Earth Federation called it Zalen 7. It was a silent moon. No animals, no trees. Just wind and dust. But under the surface, there were strong energy stones. Stones that could power whole planets. The humans were proud. Once again, they had shown that Earth was strong. Captain Jaron Cole, a famous soldier, stood tall in the center of the base. He was only 33, but his name was already famous across 10 colonies. Big body, sharp eyes, fast reflexes, he was made for war. Now, standing in front of a crowd of soldiers, scientists, and camera drones, Jaron gave a speech. Everyone was smiling, eating, drinking. It felt like a party. He raised his voice. "We didn't just take a moon today," Jaron shouted. "We showed the galaxy what human power looks like." The soldiers clapped and laughed. The mood was good. Then he said something else. A sentence he would soon regret. "You know, we met some of the locals. Those weird-looking aliens with 4 arms and glowing eyes." He paused for effect. The crowd leaned in. "They act tough, right? They try to look scary, but I swear. I pushed one yesterday, and he fell like a sack of potatoes." The whole crowd laughed. "Honestly," Jaron continued with a smirk, "if that's alien strength, then I'm the god of war." The laughter grew louder. Cameras zoomed in. A soldier beside him clapped him on the back and said, "They look like monsters, but they're weak like jelly." Jaron raised a mock fist and said, "One punch is all we need." Everyone cheered. But far away, light years away, someone else was watching. Far beyond in deep space, a small alien ship floated inside a nebula. It was silent, black as night, and shaped like a blade. Inside it, a lone figure sat in meditation. His name was Zarnek. He was not like other beings. His muscles were dense like stone. His skin was dark silver, and his eyes glowed red, not from anger, but from power. He didn't speak much. He didn't need to. He was a warrior of the old kind. The kind who fought planets, not people. Zarnek had heard the human captain's broadcast. He watched the speech in silence. When Jaron raised his fist and mocked alien strength, Zarnek didn't blink. But his ship changed course. Destination, XAL on -7. The next morning, back on the moon, Jaron was in the gym, lifting heavy weights. Music played loud. His mind was full of pride. Reporters were already calling him the Alien Slayer. Suddenly, red lights flashed in the base. Unknown object approaching fast, not responding to calls. Jaron dropped the weight. "Show me the screen." The main monitor blinked. A long black ship was entering the sky, silent and fast. It had no markings, no ID, no response. The officer beside Jaron frowned. "Sir, that's not one of ours." Jaron smirked. "Maybe it's another alien jellyman. Should I get my boxing gloves?" The officers laughed nervously, but when the ship landed, no one was laughing anymore. Zarnek steps out. The alien ship opened without a sound. Dust rose, and out came Zarnek. He wore no armor, no helmet, just a tight black suit and a silver belt. His 4 arms hung calm by his sides. He walked with slow, steady steps. He didn't carry any weapon. But still, everyone felt fear. Jaron walked forward, followed by 2 guards. "Welcome to Zalen 7, Jaron said with a fake smile. "Nice of you to visit. Got something to say?" Zarnek looked at him, then pointed directly at Jaron. Everyone froze. Zarnak's voice was low, deep, and clear. He said only 3 words. "I challenge you." The wind fell silent. Even the machines stopped humming. Jaron blinked. "What? You mocked us. Now prove your strength." The alien's eyes glowed brighter. Not angry, just awake. Jaron looked at the crowd gathering around. Soldiers, engineers, even doctors were peeking from behind walls. He laughed nervously. You serious? Zarnik didn't move. One-on-one, he said. No weapons, just strength. As you said, one punch is all we need. The crowd murmured. Cameras started recording. This wasn't just a meeting anymore. This was a duel. Jaren smiled wide. Fine, let's give you a show. The duel they met in the open field outside the base. A circle was made. No one dared to get too close. Jaren stretched his neck, cracked his knuckles. He looked confident. But inside, he was confused. This alien ... didn't look scared. Didn't even look angry. Zarnik stood still, hands down. Calm like a statue. Soldier stepped forward and raised a hand. Begin. Jaren didn't wait. He ran forward with full speed. His boots hit the ground hard. His arm pulled back for the strongest punch of his life. He jumped and hit Zarnik right in the face. Thwack! Everyone held their breath. Zarnik didn't move. His head didn't turn. His feet didn't shift. Jaren stumbled back, then he screamed. He looked at his hand. His wrist was bent. His fingers were shaking. His knuckles were cracked. His own punch had broken his hand. The crowd gasped. Zarnak looked down at him, not with hate, but with silence. He raised one arm slowly, pointed at Jaren's chest. Now I punch you back. Jaren's eyes went wide. Tried to speak. Wait! But Zarnak had already stepped forward. He raised his fist. Then stopped. 1 inch before Jaren's chest. And then boom! The air around the fist exploded. The ground behind Jaren cracked open in a straight line. A deep line stretched across the field, like lightning had hit the earth. Jaren fell to his knees, not from the hit, from the pressure. Zarnik turned around and walked away. Your body is not ready, he said, and just like that he was gone. Silence after no one spoke for minutes. Jaren sat on the ground, holding his broken hand, breathing hard. The soldiers were pale. The scientists were stunned. The whole base was quiet. The video was already spreading through the system. The punch that never landed. The human champion on his knees. Jaren looked at the broken ground. He felt something new. Not anger, not fear. Respect. Final scene, cliffhanger in deep space. Zarnik sat again in his ship. He closed his eyes and said softly, one human has seen the truth. Now the others will learn. He touched a small panel. Thousands of signals lit up across alien space. Challenge accepted. The video had gone viral across space. A human soldier, Captain Jaren Cole, had tried to punch an alien named Zarnik. But Zarnik didn't move. Instead, with one motion of his fist, without even touching Jaren, he broke the ground. And the human's pride. The galaxy was now watching. Some laughed. Some were scared, and some were planning something much worse. Back at Zaylan 7, the base was quiet. Captain Jaren sat alone in the medical room. His hand was wrapped in thick bandages. The doctors had told him, your bones are cracked in 4 places, but his body wasn't the real problem. His mind was broken. He had been the face of strength, the hero of Earth. Now he had become a meme. The man who mocked strength. His own soldiers avoided eye contact. Some still respected him. Others whispered behind his back. Jaren stared at the screen in his room. A still image showed him. Mid-punch. Next to it, Zarnik, standing like a stone god. The caption said, one punch? Not even close. Commander Neela arrives 2 days later. A ship from Earth landed on the moon. From it stepped Commander Neela Vos, one of Earth's top intelligence officers. She walked fast, tall, serious. She didn't waste time. She found Jaren in the medical room. Captain, she said coldly, you started something big, and now it's bigger than you. Jaren looked up slowly. I thought it was just a joke. It wasn't. That alien is no ordinary warrior. His kind, the Zarkari, were once planet defenders. They fought things that ate suns. We thought they were extinct. Jaren frowned. Then why is he here? Because you laughed at him. You mocked a race built on honor. And now ... others are coming. Jaren's heart sank. Others? Neela nodded. 3 alien ships just entered our galaxy. No ID, no signals, same design. Same energy. Silent ... Like Zarnak. Council meeting. A special council was called in the base's command room. Top officers, alien diplomats, scientists, they all sat in a circle, watching the data on screen. The 3 unknown ships were moving slowly but steadily toward Earth space. No attacks, no words, just movement. One scientist spoke. They're not a fleet, they're not an army. Each ship has one pilot. Just like Zarnak, Commander Nyla stood up. It's not war. It's testing. Everyone looked confused. She explained. Zarnak came to challenge one soldier. He didn't kill. He showed power and left. These new visitors are probably coming to do the same. Test our strength. A general asked, so what do we do? Nyla replied, we prepare. But not for battle. She looked at Jaren. We prepare for more duels. The crowd gathers again later that evening. An alert sounded. Unidentified ship entering atmosphere. The base was ready. This time, no laughter. No jokes. Only silence and tension. Everyone moved to the outer yard, where a circular ring was marked, the same place where Jaren had fallen. The ship landed slowly, quiet like a whisper. It was silver, smooth, shaped like a spinning coin. The door opened, and out walked a second alien. This one was different from Zarnak, taller, slimmer, with armor made of glowing crystals. His arms sparked with tiny bolts of electricity. He said nothing, then he pointed, not at Jaren. But at a young female soldier, Private Leah Tanis. The crowd gasped. Leah stepped back. Me? The alien nodded once. Jaren stood up from the side. Wait. She's not ready. She's just a scout. The alien's voice rang clear, but strange, almost like it echoed from inside your head. She laughed at us. Leah froze. She remembered. 2 days ago, during the broadcast, she had laughed at Jaren's joke. It had been a quick moment. A giggle. But the alien had seen. Commander Neela spoke sharply. Private Leah, you have 2 choices. Accept the challenge or refuse. If you refuse, Earth may be seen as weak. Leah looked around. The pressure was massive. She stepped forward slowly. I'll fight. The second duel, the ring was quiet. Jaren stood behind the barrier, his injured hand in a sling. He shouted, Leah, don't try to win. Just survive. The alien raised his hand. A green flame lit around his fingers. Leah raised her fists. She was fast, quick on her feet. But she had no idea how to fight a being like this. The duel began. The alien struck first, not with a punch, but with a wave of energy that pushed Leah back. She rolled and stood up. Okay. No problem, she whispered to herself. She charged in, jumped, and aimed a kick at the alien's head. It passed right through him, like he was made of light. The crowd screamed. Leah hit the ground hard. Her lip was bleeding. The alien appeared. Behind her, he whispered. First lesson. Not everything strong looks solid. He kicked her not hard, but with speed. She flew back and hit the dirt. Everyone thought she was finished, but she stood up. Bleeding, shaking, but standing. She didn't run. Didn't cry. The alien raised his hand again, but stopped. You stood after my test. That is enough. And just like that, he vanished. The message becomes clear that night. Commander Neela spoke. To everyone in the base, these aliens are not invading. They're measuring us. Testing courage, not violence. They are sending one warrior at a time. They want to see how we respond, not with hate, not with weapons, but with will. Jaren sat beside Leah in the med bay. You did good, he said quietly. Leah smiled weakly. I didn't win. Doesn't matter, you didn't give up. They both looked at the stars through the window. Something big was happening, something beyond war. Meanwhile, in alien space far across the galaxy, deep in a golden nebula, Zarnak stood before a council of ancient aliens. They were old warriors, glowing with power, silent, watching. Zarnak spoke slowly. The humans are flawed, proud, loud. They do not run. Two have stood. More will come. The council didn't reply. They only opened 3 more portals. 3 more challengers were sent. A secret recording later that week. Commander Nyla found something strange, a signal hidden inside the dual videos. A secret layer of sound. She decoded it. It was not a message for aliens. It was for humans. A voice spoke clearly. When you mocked us, we didn't feel insulted. We felt disappointed. But if you rise without fear, we will offer you a place. Not as enemies, but as equals. Nayla sat alone in her room, thinking hard. This wasn't a fight. It was an invitation. Final scene. Cliffhanger. Late at night. Jaren stood in the ring again. Alone. He punched the air slow, focused with pain in his eyes. Suddenly behind him, a shadow fell. A 3rd alien had arrived. This one was massive. Twice Zarnak's size, skin made of black rock, eyes burning blue. The alien didn't speak. He simply drew a circle in the dirt with his foot and waited. The night was cold on Zaylan 7. The stars were brighter than usual. The moon above glowed like a giant eye. Watching everything below. Captain Jaren Cole stood in the open training ring. His right hand was still injured. But that didn't stop him. With his left hand, he punched the air slow, controlled and full of focus. Sweat ran down his face. Every motion hurt, but he didn't stop. He wasn't showing off. He was trying to understand how one alien, without even hitting him, had crushed his pride. Suddenly, he felt something. Not a sound, not a smell, just presence. A shadow moved behind him. Jaren turned. A figure stood at the edge of the ring. Massive, twice the size of Zarnak. Its body looked like black rock. Eyes glowing with cold blue fire. The ground under its feet cracked with its weight. The alien didn't speak. It simply bent down and drew a circle in the dirt with one thick finger. A challenge. Again. Inside the command center. Commander Neela Vyas stood still, watching through the wide glass screen. No alarms. No weapons fired. Because this alien came alone. No ship showed up. No fleet behind it. Just this one being calm, quiet, and powerful. Neela's voice was low. It's starting again. Everyone in the room was silent. They watched as Jaren stepped forward. The challenge accepted. Jaren didn't run this time. He didn't joke. He walked into the circle and stood face to face with the giant alien. He could barely reach the alien's chest with his eyes. The alien raised one stone-like hand and pointed at Jaren's heart. Then it slowly made a fist. "First move is yours," the alien said. Its voice was deep, heavy like thunder. Jaren nodded once. He took a slow breath. He didn't rush. He didn't aim for the face. He aimed for the chest, the center. He ran forward and punched with everything he had left. Crack! Pain exploded in his arm. It was like punching a wall of metal. He fell back hard. Dust flew into the air. As he hit the ground, the alien hadn't moved even a step. It looked down at him. "Smarter strike," it said. Still weak. Then it raised its own arm and punched the air in front of it. Not at Jaren, just the space near him. Boom! A wave of force blasted out. Jaren was thrown across the ring like a ragdoll. He rolled across the dirt and stopped near the edge. He groaned. His ribs screamed with pain. But he got up. Slowly. One leg shook. His hand hung loose. But he stood. "Still standing," Jaren said between breaths. The alien tilted its head. "Why?" Jaren wiped blood from his mouth. "Because I started this, and I won't hide now." The alien walked toward him. Everyone watching held their breath. Jaren stood firm. He prepared for the final hit, but it didn't come. The alien stopped. Then, it bent down and held out its hand. Jaren blinked. He looked at the large rocky hand. Then slowly, he grabbed it. The alien pulled him up. "You are learning," it said. Then it turned and walked into the night. Inside the base, back in the base, no one moved. Some were in shock, some clapped softly, some just cried. Commander Nyla finally spoke. "That's 3 now, 3 tests. And we're still standing." One officer whispered, "How many more will come?" Nyla looked up at the stars. "As many as it takes to know who we really are." Medbay. Hours later, Jaren sat on a bed. Leah, the young soldier who had fought the last alien, sat beside him. Both were bruised, tired, and quiet. Jaren broke the silence. "They're not trying to kill us." Leah nodded slowly. "They're trying to see us, so we keep standing?" Jaren gave a small smile. "Yeah, we keep standing." Far away, unknown alien world on a glowing red planet far across the stars. Zarnak stood in the dark hall. He watched Jaren's fight on a screen made of light. He saw the human fall. He saw him rise. Zarnak closed his eyes. "He is not ready," he whispered, "but he is on the path." Behind him, more alien warriors waited in silence. One by one, they were being called. One by one, they would come. Days passed after the third duel. Zalin 7 was quiet again, but not peaceful. Something heavy floated in the air. It was not fear. It was not calm. It was something in between. The soldiers still trained. The engineers still worked. But everyone moved a little slower. Everyone talked a little softer. Everyone waited. They didn't say it out loud, but deep inside, they knew. Another one would come. Captain Jaren's pain. Jaren sat in the medical bay. His arm was in a hard brace. His ribs were taped. His face was bruised. But the pain didn't matter to him now. He watched recordings of the last duels again and again. Zarnak. The crystal alien, the stone giant. Each one had tested him. Not just his body, but his mind. He paused the video where the last alien extended a hand to help him up. He stared at the image. "Why didn't they finish me?" he whispered. He knew the answer already. Because this wasn't war. It was something older. Something deeper. A test of will. A new signal in the command room. Commander Neela stood before a large screen. A signal had arrived, but it wasn't from space. It came from the moon itself, buried deep under the surface. A message, hidden in the rocks. Hundreds, maybe thousands of years old. The voice was not human. It was alien. It spoke slowly, in strange sound waves, but the AI translated it. "He who mocks what he does not understand will be broken, not in body but in spirit." Neela looked around the room. No one said a word. Then the voice continued. "But he who learns will rise beyond his kind." Another arrival on the 5th night. Another ship came. This one was different. Smaller, sleeker, black with silver patterns across the side. It moved like smoke, silent and smooth. It landed just outside the ring and stayed still. No one came out. Hours passed. Still nothing. The people waited. Soldiers kept watch. Jaren stood nearby, watching with tired eyes. Finally, as the red sun of Zalin 7 rose behind the hills, the ship opened. A thin, tall figure stepped out. This alien was not large like the others, not glowing. Not armored. He wore simple dark robes. His arms were hidden inside long sleeves. His face was covered with a silver mask. He walked into the ring calm and quiet. Then he spoke. His voice was soft. "I do not come to test your fists. I come to test your truth." Jaren stepped forward. "Are you here for a duel?" The alien nodded. "But not the kind you expect." Inside the mind, before anyone could stop him, the alien reached out and touched Jaren's forehead with 2 fingers. The world changed. The ring The base, the sky, everything vanished. Jaren stood in total darkness. Then, slowly, images appeared. His childhood, his training, his first kill. His victories, his failures. The alien was walking beside him inside his mind. You mocked us, he said, because you feared what you didn't know. You thought strength was only in fists, but strength is also in silence, in honor, in understanding. Jaren shouted, "Get out of my head." But the alien didn't move. He showed Jaren the moment he first saw Zarnak. The smirk, the joke, the laugh. Then, the look on Zarnak's face. That moment echoed across stars. You turned respect into shame. A different kind of blow. Suddenly, the images vanished. Jaren was back in the ring, breathing hard. The alien stood in front of him again. Now you will receive one hit, he said, not to your body, but to your spirit. He raised one hand and flicked Jaren on the chest, just a flick. But Jaren fell to his knees. He clutched his chest, not in pain, but in realization that he saw the truth. All the pride, all the arrogance, all the mockery, that it was never strength, that it was fear in disguise. Awakening tears came to Jaren's eyes, not because of pain, but because he finally understood. He looked up. I was wrong, he said. I thought strength was power. But it's not. It's knowing your weakness and rising anyway. The alien nodded. Then rise now, with your truth. Jaren stood up. Not strong, not perfect, but awake. The alien leaves. The alien turned without another word. He walked back to his ship. And vanished into the sky. The final transmission, later that night. A new message arrived. It wasn't from the alien. It was from deep space, somewhere beyond known charts. A star system lost long ago. The message was short. 4 have come. 4 remain. If your kind survives all 8, you will be seen. Commander Neela whispered. Seen by who? The answer never came, but everyone felt it. Something bigger was watching. Cliffhanger. Jaren sat on a cliff, staring at the stars. Leah sat beside him. You okay? She asked. Jaren didn't answer right away. Then he said, I thought I was strong when I laughed, but now I think I'm just beginning. Far above them, something bright flashed across the sky. Another ship. Another visitor. Another test. Coming soon. The 4th test had shaken Jaren's soul. This time, there were no broken bones. No cracked ground. No mighty punches. Just one flick to the chest. And it had dropped him to his knees, but it had also opened his eyes. A man changing. Captain Jaren. Cole sat alone in the old storage room at the edge of Zaylan 7's base. It was dark. Quiet. In his hand was a small holo device, showing him video logs from alien duels. He had watched them many times before, but now he watched with a new mind. He paused one video. Zarnak standing still as Jaren's punch landed with full force. Jaren whispered to himself. He didn't even blink. He rewound the moment and played it again. This time, he looked deeper, not at the punch, but at Zarnak's eyes. There was no anger, no pride, just calm power. They don't fight to hurt, Jaren muttered. They fight to teach. He leaned back against the cold metal wall. So what do they want me to become? Digging for knowledge. The next morning, Jaren went to the restricted section of the base's archive. He requested access to all historical data on the Zarkari, the ancient alien warrior race that Zarnak belonged to. Commander Neela gave permission without a word. She had noticed the change in him, the quiet, the patience, the hunger for something more than fame. Hidden truths inside the data logs. Jaren found ancient messages recorded in damaged alien text. The AI worked hard to translate them. The Zarkari were once protectors of the fragile. They fought, not to destroy but to balance. Their enemies were not armies, but beasts made of gravity, monsters of flame, things that could eat suns. Jaren read on. One line hit him hard. The strongest warrior is the one who can still stand with No weapon, no armor, and no anger. He sat in silence for a long time. Leah's words later that day, Jaren visited Leah Tanis in the training yard. She was back on her feet and training again, sweating, pushing herself. Faster than before. Jaren watched for a while, then spoke. "You're getting better," Leah turned. "We don't have a choice, do we?" "No, we don't," Jaren replied. "But I think getting better means something different now." She nodded. "It means understanding why we fight." He looked at her and knowing when not to. A quiet visitor that night. The fifth alien arrived. No ship was seen. No sound was heard. He simply appeared, standing outside the ring. Dressed in white armor that shimmered under the moonlight. He was small, thin, almost childlike, but his eyes were old. So old that even Zarnik might call him elder. The base alarmed briefly, then went silent. Commander Neela stepped outside. So did Jaren. The alien spoke not with voice, but mind. "You have passed 4. Now the 5th will not fight you. It will walk with you." Jaren blinked. "Walk?" The alien nodded slowly. "You have seen our strength. Now you must see our weakness." The journey. Jaren followed the alien to the far side of the moon. No guards. No weapons. Just the two of them. They walked for hours across dust and stone. No words were spoken. Then they reached a deep crater. Inside, it buried in silence, were bones. Not human bones. Alien. Large, strange, ancient. Thousands of them. The alien finally spoke aloud. "We were strong once, stronger than now." He pointed at the bones. "But we used our strength with pride. We became blind. These are our children. Our families, lost in one night. Not by war, but by arrogance." Jaren stood frozen. The alien looked at him. "Now do you understand why we test you?" Jaren nodded. "You're not testing strength. You're testing our heart." The lesson. As they walked back, the alien said one last thing. "A human who learns from his shame is stronger than one who only wins." Then he vanished. Right in front of Jaren's eyes. Gone. Like wind. Jaren's speech the next day. Jaren called the whole base together. Soldiers, scientists, pilots, mechanics. He stood on the same stage where he once laughed at alien strength. But now, his voice was calm. "I once said aliens were weak. I thought their strength was in how they looked, how they hit, how they moved. But I was wrong. True strength isn't loud. It doesn't need to be." He looked up at the stars. "We've been visited by 5 warriors. Each one showed us something different. Not to beat us, but to help us grow. We have 3 left. We don't know what they will test. But I know this, we won't pass by force. We'll pass by listening, by learning, by rising again." The crowd was silent. Then a slow clap. Then another. And soon everyone clapped. Not for the speech, but for the man who had changed. Zarnik watches far away. Zarnik watched the broadcast. Saw Jaren speak. He saw the people listen. And for the first time since leaving his world. Ha smiled. Scene, cliffhanger. Back on Zalan 7. A soft rumble shook the moon. Under the base, a crack formed in the rock. It glowed blue slowly, opening. Not from outside, but from within. The 6th test would not arrive from the stars. It would come from beneath their feet. It began with a sound, not from the sky, but from beneath the moon. A deep, low rumble, like something old waking up after thousands of years. The ground near the base cracked. Blue light poured from the cracks. And then silence. Commander Neela stood on the command deck, eyes wide. "It's coming from under the base. Something's moving alive." Everyone stared at the live scanner. It showed one life form, massive, glowing and rising. The ground opens in the middle of the moon's desert. A circle of rock split open. Dust flew high in the air. From the hole, a creature began to rise. It was unlike any alien they had seen before. Its body looked like lava. Its eyes burned orange, like fire trapped inside stone. Its chest had symbols glowing in red ancient. Unreadable, and angry. No ship, no message. No speech. It crawled from the ground like a beast. Is it the sixth challenger? Leah asked, her hand ready on her weapon. Jaren didn't move. He stared at the beast. He could feel it. This wasn't like Zarnak or the others. This alien wasn't here to teach. It was here to test something else. Wrath. The sixth test begins. Creature reached the old dual ring and stopped. It didn't speak. It didn't draw a circle. It just roared. The shockwave broke. Glass panels in the base. People covered their ears. Jaren stepped forward. He looked at Commander Nyla. If this is the sixth test, it's not about honor or peace. It's about what we do when we're pushed to our limit. Nyla nodded slowly. Wrath, the test of rage. Jaren walked into the ring. Leah tried to stop him. You're still healing. This isn't about body strength, he said. It's about something worse. The beast attacks as soon as Jaren entered the circle. The beast charged. No warning. No pause. Just speed and fury. Jaren dodged barely. The ground exploded behind him as the creature's arm smashed the dirt. He rolled, ran, and tried to stay on his feet. It doesn't think, Jaren muttered. It just attacks. The creature roared again and punched forward. Jaren jumped aside, but a shockwave hit him from the side and threw him across the ring. He landed hard. Pain exploded in his back. But he stood. Inside the rage as the beast came again. Jaren realized something strange. Every time it roared, every time it struck, it made him angrier. Something inside him was boiling. He wasn't just trying to dodge. He wanted to hit back. Hard. He wanted to destroy it. His fists tightened. Why do I want to kill it? He whispered. Then he remembered the words of the fifth visitor. The strongest warrior is the one who can still stand with no weapon, no armor, and no anger. Jaren looked into the beast's eyes. It was pure rage, and now it was trying to bring his rage to the surface. Real test. Jaren let the creature charge again. He didn't punch back. He dodged. He dodged again. He ducked, jumped, rolled, but never struck. The crowd watched in confusion. Why isn't he fighting? A soldier asked. Nayla understood. Because the fight is inside. Jaren gritted his teeth. His muscles screamed to hit back, to release his pain, but he didn't. Not this time, he whispered. I won't become like you. The turning point. The beast grew faster, angrier. It roared louder. Flames burst from its chest, but Jaren stood calm, breathing slowly, moving smartly. Dodging again. The beast lunged. Jaren stepped aside, and the creature crashed into the ground, breaking part of the ring. It struggled to rise. For the first time, it looked tired. Weak. Its fire dimmed. Jaren walked forward slowly. He stood over the beast. You tried to pull rage out of me, but I gave you silence. He knelt down and placed a hand on the creature's shoulder. We don't win by hate. We win by holding back. The beast's transformation. The beast trembled. Then its red fire turned blue. Its black stone body cracked. It shrank slowly, changing. The lava faded. The heat vanished. And in its place stood a calm alien figure. Thin, pale, soft, glowing skin. It looked at Jaren with tired eyes. You passed the wrath trial. You faced your own monster. You didn't feed it. Then, like the others, the alien faded into the wind. Aftermath. Back at the base, the crew was stunned. Leah ran up to Jaren. Are you okay? Not okay, he said, still breathing hard. But better. Commander Neela stepped forward. What was that thing? Jaren replied, It was me. The angry me. The version that wanted revenge. The one who mocked others because he was afraid. He looked around at everyone. We all have that version inside us. And now I know. We can beat it without using our fists. Message from beyond that night. A message appeared on every screen in the base. It had no sender, just words. You have passed 6 trials. 2 remain. The 7th will test your heart. The 8th ... will test your future. Commander. Neela looked out at the stars. 1 more to feel. 1 more to choose. Final scene, cliffhanger in deep space. A new ship appeared. It was not sleek, not fast. It was a prison ship. Inside it, a being floated in chains of light, eyes closed. But, dreaming, the I voice inside the ship said, "Time to wake up. Earth is waiting." 2 weeks had passed since the Wrath trial. Zalan 7 was quiet again. Too quiet. No ships, no monsters. No sound, but everyone felt it. Something was coming. The 6th test had changed everything. The base had seen fire, rage, and transformation. But now, they waited for something else. Something that would not test their hands, but their hearts. A soft arrival happened during the morning shift. The scanners beeped, but not with warning, just a soft signal. A ship entered orbit. It was not black or silver or armed. It was white, completely white. Round, smooth, gentle like a falling feather. It landed quietly on a small platform. Outside the base. No lights. No weapons. Just one door, and it opened slowly. A child steps out of the ship. Walked. A child, small, barefoot, skin glowing with soft yellow light. Her eyes were large and sad. The guards looked confused. Some reached for their weapons. But Commander Neela raised her hand. No one moves. No weapons. The child looked up at the crowd. Then she said softly, calmly, "I am the 7th." People gasped. Leah whispered, "She's just a girl." Jaren shook his head. "She's not just anything." He stepped forward. "What's your name?" The child answered, "You may call me Lyra. I have not come to fight. I have come to feel." The trial begins. Lyra walked slowly through the base. She touched walls, looked at people. Watched their eyes. Wherever she walked, the temperature changed. Warmer. Softer. But her presence brought memories. Some soldiers dropped to their knees, crying. Others smiled with tears. One engineer began shaking, remembering the face of his wife who had died 10 years ago. It was like Lyra could reach into people's hearts and pull their hidden pain to the surface. "What is this?" Leah asked. "This," Neela whispered, "is the heart trial." Jaren's turn later that day. Lyra found Jaren sitting alone in the training room. She walked to him slowly. "Captain," she said, "you carry the most wounds, but none on your skin." Jaren looked up at her. "You're not here to hurt me, are you?" She shook her head. "I'm here to show you what still hurts." She placed a small hand on his chest. Suddenly, the world shifted. Memories returned. Jaren stood in a white space. Empty. Then, a woman appeared. His mother, then his father, then his brother, who had died in the Mars explosion 5 years ago. They all stood before him. Smiling. But saying nothing. Jaren's heart shook. "Why are you showing me this?" Lyra's voice echoed in his mind. "Because you never cried for them. You buried your pain under strength. You became a warrior to hide your grief." Jaren fell to his knees. His chest felt heavy. "I thought if I stayed strong, I'd survive. I thought crying was weakness." Lyra's voice softened. "Then let yourself break. Just once, and finally." Jaren cried. Not loud. Not wild. Just deep, quiet tears that had waited years to fall. Peeling when Jaren opened his eyes, he was back in the training room. Lyra stood in front of him, smiling gently. "Now you are lighter." He wiped his face. "How many others do you have to test?" She looked up at the sky. "All of you." Base under emotion for the next 48 hours, Lyra moved from room to room. She didn't fight. She listened. She touched hearts. She made old pain rise and allowed healing to begin. People remembered those they lost, forgave those who hurt them, faced fears. They had never spoken aloud. The base was filled with tears, but also peace. A final visit on the last day. Lyra visited Commander Nyla. They stood alone in the control room. Nyla stared at the girl. I've led battles, I've lost friends, I've seen planets burn. But your kind, you win without war. Lyra nodded, because the real war is always inside. She walked to the glass wall and looked at the stars. You have passed. Not because you fought back, but because you opened up. The departure that evening. Lyra stood outside her ship. Everyone came to see her off. She turned to them and said, "The heart trial is not about strength. It is about connection. You have passed it." She looked at Jaren one last time. You are ready. Then she stepped into her white ship. It vanished without sound. Final message later. A soft message appeared on every screen. No voice. Just simple words. 7 trials complete. 1 remains. You will not face a warrior. You will face a choice. Final scene, cliffhanger. Far beyond the stars, in a quiet system near a dying sun. A great council of alien minds gathered. Zarnak stood among them, the white-robed. Visitor stood beside him. And in the center, a floating crystal pulsed with power. They have passed 7, Zarnak said. Shall we offer them the last trial? A deep voice answered, yes, let them face the path. Let them decide their future. The stars over Zaylan 7 were brighter than ever, but no ship king. No alien appeared. No ring was drawn in the dust. Days passed. People waited for the 8th test, but nothing happened. No message. No sound. Just silence. Commander Nyla stood on the balcony, watching the sky. Leah approached her. It's been 3 days. Maybe the last test isn't coming. Nyla shook her head slowly. It's already here. We just don't see it yet. The signal at midnight. The stars blinked. One by one. The constellations shifted. Not by accident. They formed a symbol. An ancient alien mark that no one had seen before. But Jaren recognized it. He had seen it once, in the secret records of the Zia Yar Kari. He spoke the words out loud. Final choice. Then the sky itself spoke, not in sound, but in thought. You have passed 7 trials. Now comes the last. You will not fight. You will not flee. You will decide. The trial revealed a beam of white light appeared over the desert. Inside it, a platform floated down from the sky. On it stood 2 beings. One was tall, dark, and wore silver armor. His eyes burned like suns. The other was covered in green robes, gentle and glowing with life. The silver one spoke first. Humanity is strong. You survived pain, fear, anger, and truth. But your kind also spreads war. You take more than you give. Then the green-robed figure spoke. But you also love. You heal, you grow. Now the time has come. Not to prove your strength, but to choose your future. The choice. The silver figure raised a glowing cube. Inside this cube is the path of power. If Earth accepts it, your kind will grow fast. You will become strong. You will lead. The green figure raised a second cube. Inside this cube is the path of peace. If you choose this, your kind will grow slower, but you will harm less. You will serve others, not rule them. Then both beings spoke together. You may only choose one path, and the choice must be made by one human. The one who mocked alien strength, but learned its truth. All eyes on Jaren. Jaren stepped forward. He looked at the 2 cubes. The crowd behind him watched in silence. Why me? He asked. The green figure replied, because your journey is the mirror of your species. You began with pride. You end with wisdom. Jaren's thoughts. Jaren stared at the path of power. He saw Earth ruling other worlds. Human ships in every sky. Humans feared, respected, unstoppable. Then he looked at the path of peace. He saw humans working side by side with aliens, helping, learning, healing broken worlds. Not conquerors, but companions. He closed his eyes. He saw Zarnak. He saw Leah. He saw Lyra. And he remembered one thing. Strength is not to control others. It is to control yourself. The decision Jaren opened his eyes. He reached out. Everyone held their breath. And he touched the green cube, the path of peace. A warm light filled the sky. The green-robed figure bowed. Humanity has chosen the harder path, the wiser path. You will not rise fast, but you will rise right. The silver figure stepped back and smiled. You have passed the final trial. Then both beings vanished in light. The cubes turned into dust. A new message on every screen across the base. A final message appeared. Earth is ready. You will now be known, not as conquerors, but as keepers. The stars are open. 1 year later, Earth was no longer alone. Human ships traveled with alien fleets. New trade routes opened. New worlds healed. New friendships began. Humans taught, and they listened. War did not end overnight, but something stronger than war had begun. Understanding. JAREN single quotes S. Legacy Captain Jaren Cole stood in the classroom on a peaceful moon colony. He was no longer a soldier. He was a teacher. On the wall behind him hung a symbol. Strength is in wisdom. Power is in peace. Children of many species sat before him, human, alien, mixed. He smiled and began to speak. Once, I thought I knew what strength was. And so he told them the story of a man who laughed at alien strength. And how that laugh changed everything.